From homeless to millionaire, you ever been so low that even looking up felt like a stretch? I'm talking no money, no backup, no plan B, just a dream, a prayer, and a whole lot of pain. It's hard to smile when your stomach's empty and your future looks the same. But let me tell you something, rock bottom isn't the end. Sometimes it's the solid ground where you start rebuilding. Because being homeless might strip you of comfort, but it can't steal your purpose. And if you've still got breath in your body and a vision in your mind, you've still got a chance to flip the whole script. Rock bottom is a place most people fear, but for some, it's the exact place they needed to land in order to finally look up. It's not pretty, it's not easy, but it's real. When everything is stripped away, when there's no money, no house, no job title to hide behind, you come face to face with yourself, the raw you, the version of you that still breathes even when the world ignores you. And that, right there, is the starting line of a comeback. Because if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Being at rock bottom doesn't mean you're broken beyond repair. It means the old foundation is gone, and now it's time to build something new, something real, something that lasts. When you're at your lowest, you don't have time for ego, for excuses, or for fake motivation. You only have time to survive. And it's in those survival moments that your real character is tested. Do you sit in the dirt and cry forever? Or do you wipe your face and say, all right, let's go again? Most people think success starts with a plan, a business card, a mentor, a bank loan. But truthfully, success starts with a decision, a moment. A point when you say to yourself, this is not how my story ends. That's where the power is. Because rock bottom gives you clarity. It forces you to look around and say, this isn't it. I was made for more than this. That's not arrogance. That's purpose waking up. That's the sound of destiny getting louder than despair. When you have nothing, you learn to appreciate everything. You become grateful for a meal, thankful for a good night's sleep, proud just to make it through the day. That kind of mindset, it sticks with you when you rise. It keeps you grounded when the success finally shows up. Because nothing humbles you like having to figure out how to stretch $5 for 3 days. Nothing makes you more creative than turning a no into a not yet. That struggle, that pressure, that grind, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Too many people waste their rock bottom. They get bitter. They blame. They sit still waiting for someone to rescue them. But your rescue isn't coming from the outside. It's coming from within. You are the answer you've been looking for. And when you realize that, when you shift your mindset from pity to power, the game changes. You stop asking for permission. You stop needing approval. You stop moving like your life depends on it, because it does. The comeback isn't about becoming rich. It's about becoming ready. Ready to take responsibility. Ready to outwork the past. Ready to break the cycle. You don't rise from homelessness to success overnight, but you do it decision by decision. Small wins, daily commitment. Faith that fights through tears. You fall, you get up. You lose, you learn. You fail, you try again. That's the rhythm. That's the music of every comeback story worth telling. So don't let rock bottom fool you into thinking it's over. It's not. It's just the point where all distractions are gone and all that's left is you, your dream, and the grit to climb. And once you start that climb, even one step at a time, you're no longer stuck. You're rising. And that rise, no matter how slow, is the beginning of something greater than you ever imagined. Your mindset is the steering wheel of your life. If it's pointed in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how fast you drive, you're still headed nowhere. The truth is, success doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with opportunity. It doesn't even start with talent. It starts with a decision in your mind, a shift, a belief that even though everything around you says impossible, you still choose to believe, I can. Because if you don't change the way you think, you'll never change the way you live. See, when you're in a place of lack, it's easy to get trapped in survival thinking. You wake up just trying to get through the day. You start believing that your circumstances are your limits. But your environment doesn't determine your future. Your mindset does. What you think consistently becomes what you believe. And what you believe becomes how you behave. If all you tell yourself is that you're not good enough, that you'll always struggle, that you'll never get ahead, guess what? You'll live that story out. But if you start feeding your mind something different, something true, something strong, something bold, your life starts to shift. You've got to talk to yourself like you're worth something, not just when you're doing well, but especially when you're at your lowest. That's when it matters most. That's when the fight in your mind is the loudest. It's not about being fake or pretending everything's okay. It's about choosing to believe that your current situation is not your permanent destination. That belief, that mindset is your foundation. Everything else is built on that. You don't need a millionaire bank account to have a millionaire mindset. In fact, most people who become wealthy had to learn to think like that long before they ever saw the money. They had to think possibility when everything around them said limitation. They had to see doors in walls. They had to speak life into dead places. Because if your mind can't handle success, your hands won't hold it for long. That's why so many people lose what they gain. They never shifted their mindset. They got the blessing, but didn't build the belief. Changing your mindset doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means deciding that you're bigger than your reality. It means waking up each day with discipline in your thoughts, guarding them, checking them, correcting them. You train your mind the same way you train your body. Reps, repetition, consistency. You can't think poor, lazy, and defeated thoughts every day and expect to live a rich, driven, victorious life. It doesn't add up. You have to reprogram what the world and your past may have taught you. The most dangerous thing in life isn't failure. It's small thinking. It's the voice that says, be realistic when your heart is trying to dream. It's the fear of looking foolish that keeps people from ever stepping into their greatness. But those who win big are the ones who dared to think different. They imagined more. They believed they could even when they had no proof. And that mindset became their map. So no matter where you are right now, struggling, rebuilding, barely holding on, start with your thinking. Feed your mind the thoughts you want your life to live out. Speak to yourself with power. See yourself rising. See yourself succeeding. And then back that vision with action day by day. Because once your mind shifts, your world will follow. Too often, people believe that they need everything to be perfect before they take the first step. They wait for the ideal timing, the perfect opportunity, the complete resources. But success doesn't work like that. Most people who made something out of their lives didn't start with everything. They started with what they had. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have all the connections. They didn't have a full toolbox. But they used the one thing in their hands, and they used it with faith, fire, and focus. Because the truth is, if you're faithful with little, you'll be trusted with much. That idea changes everything. It takes away excuses. It removes the pressure of perfection. It reminds you that greatness doesn't begin when you have everything. It begins when you recognize that what you have is already enough to get started. It may not be flashy. It may not look like much to others. But if you use it right, it will open doors, build bridges, and move mountains. The problem is not your lack, it's your perspective. You're looking at what's missing instead of looking at what's possible with what's already in front of you. You don't need $1 million to think like a millionaire. You need to treat your $100 like it matters. You don't need a massive audience to speak life. You speak with power to the 1 or 2 people who will listen. You don't need a studio to make music if you've got a phone and a voice. It's not about what's missing. It's about what's present and how present you are with it. See, what you have right now is a seed, and seeds don't look like much. But inside that seed is a tree, and inside that tree is fruit, and inside that fruit is more seed. But none of that happens if the seed isn't planted and watered. Use what you have right where you are. Waiting on perfect conditions is a form of fear dressed up in logic. It sounds smart. It feels safe. But really, it's just procrastination in disguise. Life rewards action. Momentum favors the bold. There will never be a perfect moment to start. And if you wait too long, you'll look back and realize you let too many seasons slip through your fingers. Your idea won't become real by thinking about it. Your dream won't manifest just because you talk about it. Action is the bridge between potential and promise. That means you've got to stop downplaying your gift. Stop talking yourself out of starting. Stop saying, "I'll try when," and start saying, "I'll do what I can now." Success doesn't demand that you be perfect. It demands that you be willing. And if you're willing to move, even in small ways, you'll start to see big shifts. One step leads to another. One eyes leads to more open doors. But nothing happens until you get out of your own head and into motion. It's not about having everything. It's about honoring what you've got. You may not have what someone else has, but you've got something they don't. And that something matters. Use it. Build with it. Grow it. God didn't give you your specific talent, perspective, or voice by accident. You were wired with purpose, equipped with intention. And everything you need to start becoming who you were born to be is already inside you or within your reach. The real question is, are you bold enough to believe that? Are you disciplined enough to act on it? Because when you do, you'll look back and realize the smallest beginnings often lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Pain has a strange way of showing up just when you're trying to move forward. It doesn't knock. It doesn't wait for your invitation. It barges in right when you think you're finally getting traction. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like pain is proof that you're doing something wrong. But more often than not, pain is the evidence that you're growing. It's the discomfort of change. It's the resistance that builds your resilience. See, nothing worth having comes without a cost. And sometimes that cost is tears, setbacks, loneliness, and the pressure of staying the course when you feel like giving up. But pain is not the enemy. It's a teacher. It exposes what needs healing. It reveals what you're made of. It strips away the parts of you that can't survive on the next level. You can't elevate while carrying old weight, and pain has a way of burning that baggage off. Now, that doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it feel good. But if you can stop running from pain and start learning from it, you'll start growing through what you're going through. Most people waste their pain. They sit in it, complain about it, or let it define them. But pain was never meant to be a prison. It was meant to be a path. Every scar tells a story, and the most powerful ones are the ones that point to strength, survival, and transformation. There's a version of you that pain is trying to introduce you to. A wiser you, a stronger you, a more disciplined, focused, and fearless you. But you'll never meet that version if you try to skip the process. You've got to stop seeing pain as punishment. It's not always a result of failure or sin or misdirection. Sometimes it's simply a sign that you're stepping into something bigger. Stretching always hurts. Breaking old habits feels like war. Releasing toxic people is painful. Saying no to your comfort zone hurts. But all of that is necessary if you're going to grow. You can't carry yesterday's version of yourself into tomorrow's destiny. That old mindset, that old fear, that old insecurity, it can't live in your new season. Think about the strongest people you admire, the ones who stand tall with wisdom and fire. I promise you, every single one of them has a story of pain, a valley they had to walk through, a chapter they wanted to skip. But they didn't give up. They let pain shape them instead of stop them. They used the pressure to produce diamonds. They cried through it, worked through it, prayed through it, but they never let it break their spirit. And now, their pain is somebody else's survival guide. That's the power of turning pain into purpose. It becomes fuel. It becomes a platform. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. You stop hiding your wounds and start helping others heal through your story. Because once you realize that your pain wasn't random, that it was part of your preparation, you stop resenting it and start respecting it. And you rise. So if you're hurting right now, don't let that pain convince you you're failing. Let it remind you that you're transforming. You're shedding what no longer serves you. You're being shaped for something greater. Stay in the fight. Cry if you have to. Take a break if you need. But don't you dare quit. Your pain has a purpose. And if you keep going, one day it'll make sense. One day it'll make you stronger. One day it'll make someone else brave enough to keep going too. You may not have much, but what you do have is enough to start. People get caught up waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect resources. They think they need a whole team, a big bank account, or a fancy degree to take that first step. But the truth is, most success stories don't start with excess. They start with scraps. They start with people using what little they have in their hands and multiplying it with grit, vision, and belief. If all you've got is a dream, a prayer, and a little bit of fight left in you, that's enough to get moving. Sometimes all you've got is your imagination, a mental picture of what your life could look like if things finally lined up. That picture is powerful. It's a blueprint from your soul. It's God whispering what's possible if you stop focusing on what you lack and start recognizing what you've got. A lot of people never make it out of their struggle, not because they don't have talent or opportunity, but because they discredit what's already inside of them. They look at their limitations and forget about their creativity. They measure their worth by their wallet instead of their willpower. But if you believe in the vision and you're willing to grind, what's in your hand will open doors you never imagined. People look at someone successful and only see the end result. They see the stage, the spotlight, the nice suit, the applause. What they don't see is the beginning. The times that person had to do it scared, had to sleep in their car, had to hustle through rejection after rejection. They don't see how many times they had to encourage themselves when nobody else was clapping. They don't see how they kept moving forward with nothing but faith and a sliver of opportunity. That's the truth behind real success. It's never as shiny as it looks, but it's always about starting with what you have and making it stretch until it grows. You've got something right now, right in this moment, that you're overlooking. Maybe it's your ability to speak, to write, to solve problems, to connect with people, to see things others don't. Maybe it's your work ethic. Maybe it's your story. Whatever it is, don't sit on it waiting for things to line up perfectly. Use it, cultivate it. Let it grow in the dark. And when the light finally hits it, but people will call you lucky, but you'll know it was never luck. It was work. It was faith. It was starting small and refusing to quit. There is no shame in humble beginnings. What matters is the direction you're headed, not how far you've gone. You don't need to sprint. You don't need to impress. You just need to move. A little progress every day adds up. And when you use what's in your hand, you invite favor into your life. You show the universe you're serious. That you're not waiting on a miracle. You're working like the miracle is already in motion. So stop wishing and start working. Take the shot with the tools you've got. Build the dream with the bricks you've been given. Your starting point may be small, but your destination is great. All you need is the courage to begin. Because when you move with purpose and believe in what you carry, what you have will be more than enough to create the life you've imagined. One of the most powerful forces behind every success story is consistency. Not talent, not luck, not connections. Consistency. It's the ability to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, keep believing even when nothing around you seems to be changing. Most people get excited for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but then life hits. Disappointments come. Results don't show up fast enough, and they quit. But the ones who make it, the ones who rise from struggle to success, are the ones who keep showing up even when it hurts. Consistency builds character. It tests your patience. It stretches your faith. It sharpens your skills. It teaches you discipline. And discipline will take you places motivation never could. Motivation feels good, but it fades. Discipline. Doing the right thing over and over, even when you don't feel like it. That's what separates dreamers from achievers. See, it's not about doing a lot once in a while. It's about doing a little every single day. You don't have to be the best today, but you do have to be present. You have to stay in the fight. Imagine a seed planted in the dirt. You water it, you give it sunlight, and you wait. For days, sometimes weeks, nothing happens above the surface. But something is happening beneath it. Roots are forming. That seed is getting stronger, preparing to break through the ground. Now think about your journey. You may not see anything changing on the outside, but your consistency is building roots. It's building strength you'll need when the breakthrough comes. And when that seed finally pushes through the surface, it doesn't stop growing. That's how success works. It's slow, then sudden. You have to be consistent even when it's boring. That's the part nobody wants to talk about. The days that feel repetitive, the nights where you're not sure it's worth it. That's where greatness is born. Because while others are waiting for motivation, you're developing a rhythm. You're building endurance. You're proving to life that you're serious about your dream. The reward doesn't come from a single moment of effort. It comes from 1,000 small steps stacked on top of each other. People will doubt you. Results will delay. But you have to stay the course. Every great story has a middle that doesn't look like the end. Stay consistent with your goals. Wake up and do the work, even if no one's watching. Speak life over yourself when no one else does. Keep planting seeds of effort. It might feel like nothing's happening, but one day, people will look at your life and call it a miracle. What they won't see is the years of quiet effort, the mornings you got up when it was hard, the sacrifices you made without applause. Success isn't a leap, it's a climb. And the climb requires consistency. Every rep at the gym, every early morning hustle, every page you write, Every phone call you make, it all matters. It's building you. It's preparing you. It's teaching you how to carry the blessing when it arrives. Because if you can't be consistent with little, you won't sustain more. Don't underestimate the power of steady movement. Slow progress is still progress. Just because it's not flashy doesn't mean it's not working. Be the one who sticks with it. Be the one who keeps showing up, because the difference between those who dream and those who live their dream is consistency. Keep pushing. Keep believing. Keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's slow. Your consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. Your journey from nothing to something, from pain to purpose, from surviving to thriving. It all hinges on what you choose to believe and how long you're willing to keep moving forward. You might not have started with much, but if you stay consistent, stay faithful, and never forget the power inside you, there's no limit to where you can go. Your past doesn't define you. Your persistence does. So don't quit. Don't fold. Keep showing up, because what's ahead of you is far greater than what's behind you. You're closer than you think, and your breakthrough is already on the way.